graciously and delightful, honeymoon happy, peacock proud, to be in the number one more time. So to Deacon Brand and to the officers of Bethel and to my dear friend, my newest friend. I don't have a whole lot of friends. I can count them on one hand. And I just learned to keep my circle small. Because you don't need everybody. And then you don't need who you think you need. But Reverend Ambrose is my newly elected friend. I really mean that, him and his lovely wife. And of course, this is my firstborn, the good-looking man over there, Emmanuel Whipple. I want to thank you all again for receiving me. Choir, you have blessed me so much today. Musicians, thank you all so much. And to these globetrotters of preachers, both male and female, I've done some observations, and one of them is that Sister Shirley, I believe it's her husband, Walter. Sister Shirley went and bought a cake and changed the pan. And because that cake was just too neat. And she told me yesterday she cooked that cake. I'm not convinced until I get another piece. I'll try it again. And then to these deacons who were so nice, and they took me out, and Deacon Brand called it brunch. Man, I had dinner. And then I'm not going to tell y'all on yesterday evening, my mama taught me just some things you just ought not tell. But I was at a ranch yesterday, at a ranch. I mean, you had to drive way out. I'm not calling no names, but I was at some preacher's house yesterday eating, and one of the things I admire about Deacon Brand, I want you to know this, and Reverend Ambrose, is that y'all make me want to get married. I watch how you take care of your wife, man. God bless you for that. Continue to bless you. You remind me of my father, how he took care of my mom. And it's been a few years since she's been gone. But I watch you all, how you handle your wives, and then Reverend Ambrose and Sister C. She, honey, and darling. I'm like, they need to cut this out. Then she walked in the office, and he looked at her, and he didn't know I heard him, but he says, I sure ought to be going with you. And I love that about you all. My daughter, she's 12, she'll be 13, she act like she's 50. But I open the door for my daughter and I close the door. And I have some sisters, and whenever we're at the gas station, I pump the gas. And I tell my daughter how beautiful she is. And so when little boys come up to her, have some game. She tell him, listen, my daddy already told me. I lived long enough. I celebrated my 50th birthday in January, and I lived long enough to know when folk are pretending. I know crooks when I see them. I know game when I see game. I've been on both sides of the fence, and so I thank God today for this opportunity to come back, and if I don't do nothing but come back and eat again. Just let me come back. Come back because I've enjoyed my stay here, and it's been wonderful. And I'm grateful and I'm humbled to stand where Reverend Rice has stood for many years. And even though he's not here, I think we ought to thank God for him. In my 35 years of trying to preach and 19 years of trying to pastor, there's only 10% that we do as preachers. This is not going to cost y'all nothing. When it comes to pastoring, the 10% of preaching is what we do, but it's the 90% that we have to learn how to manage. You got to know how to treat folk. And you got to know how to talk to them. And we're living in a time now where everybody want to be a pastor. But you got to have the anointing. You got to be called to do this. And so thank you all again. There's a text I want to wrestle with for about 15 minutes. And let me use the words that Elizabeth Taylor told her 8th husband. I promise you we won't be together long. 2 Kings, if you would stand with me, chapter 4, 7 written verses. 2 Kings chapter 4. Old Testament. 2 Kings chapter 4. Now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of prophets unto Elijah, saying, Thy servant my husband is dead. Thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord. The problem that I have now is that the creditor is come to take unto him our 2 sons to be bondmen. Elijah replied and said unto her, What shall I do for thee? Yes. Tell me, what hast thou in thy house? Mm-hmm. She said, Thy handmaid have not anything in the house save a pot of oil. Mm-hmm. Then he said, Go borrow thee vessels abroad of all thy neighbors, even empty vessels, borrow not a few. And when thou art come in, thou shalt shut the door upon thee and upon thy sons, and shalt pour out into all of those vessels. Thou shalt set aside that which is full. So she went from him and shut the door upon her and upon her sons, who brought the vessels to her. She poured out. And it came to pass that when the vessels were full, she said unto her sons, Bring me yet a vessel. And he said unto her, Not a vessel more. And the oil stayed. Verse 7, then she came and told the man of God, and he said, go, sell the oil, pay your debt, live thou and thy children, live off the rest. I want to pinpoint preaching purpose, and for the essence of time, I want you to look at a neighbor. Worry about the size of their nose, but look at your neighbor. You got to do a pew check. You might be sitting on the wrong pew, because I'm going to ask you to look at your neighbor. And so I want you to look at a neighbor and say, neighbor, help this preacher preach about God can do it again. Take your seats real quick.
Come on. Preach.
13 and a half minutes and I'm out of here. Sister Daniel called me and told me that it was 60 degrees. And then on Friday, I get a text says, oops, bring some clothes, some cold weather. And I'm of this opinion that you all brought me back to fail again. Brought me in some cold climate. But I want to encourage somebody this morning that you might be going through a storm. Dr. H.B. Hicks, Metropolitan Baptist Church of Washington, D.C., wrote a book titled Preaching Through a Storm. And he suggested there are three types of people that will experience storms. There are those who are in a storm. There are those who are about to come out of a storm. Then there are those who are about to go in a storm.
That's right.
But I want to help somebody who has gone spiritual AWOL. And you have forgotten, you have taken on spiritual amnesia. And you are literally have forgotten about what God did before. And so as Edna Mae's grandson, a little country boy from Miami, even though we want to call it the city, it's still a country. I come to tell somebody today that God can do it again. If you would just only go back and check your faith file. Look how many times he brought you out. We can do the benediction there and go home. Just to know that if he did it before, God can do it again. C.D. Martin, W.S. Martin wrote this hymn, young folk. Be not dismayed. Whatever the tide, God will take care of you. Beneath his wings, love abide. God will take care of you. Through days of toil, when heart doeth fail, God will take care of you. When dangerous, fierce your paths assail, God will take care of you. All you may need, he will provide. God will take care of you. No matter what may be the test, God will take care of you. Lean, weary one, upon his breast. God will take care of you. C.D. Martin and W.S. Martin must have experienced some life disappointment to come up with this hymn. be not dismayed. Whatever betide you, God will take care of you. It must have had some moments of disappointment to pick up a pen and write this hymn, though they had purpose, but at the same time they felt some pain. To be able to write this hymn, God will take care of you. And somebody need to know that today, that he will. I said he will take care of you. Beneath his wings, his love abide. God will take care of you. And so as I hasten to jaywalk through this text and to examine the story of a poor widow, it's interesting how the writer speaks to us in the context of her complaint. In that day, to be called a widow, one must have been married, and if the husband or the spouse succeed the other ones in death, you would be recognized as a widow. And what is interesting about the text, her husband in that day must have been a godly man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Inasmuch that the text took time to record the testimony that fell from the lips of this widow. And I saw four things that literally leaped out at me as I began to peruse through the perimeter of this prolifical text. I saw something that literally arrested my attention, Deacon Brand.
All right.
About this widow's complaint. What I like about this text is that I see four things that this widow had to participate in so that God could do it again. I wish I had somebody who was just interested. I wish I could find at least 12 folk that really care about what she did. In order to, I'm waiting on 12 people that would just, in order to preach this text. I'm looking for at least 12 folk that's interested in this woman's complaint. I can't preach it until I find 12 people who is interested in this text. I'm looking for 12 folk. That's all I need is just 12. I don't need you to wave your hand. I'm just waiting for you to stand. I'm just trying to find 12. I got more than 12. I think I can preach it. But the first thing that the text allowed me to engage in is that she was dealing with a problem. It's in verse 1 of the text without even tampering with the text. The creditor has come to take two sons. Don't miss this.
Come on, Don, come on.
She's faced with a dilemma. And I want to ask this question. Have you ever had a dilemma in your life that you just didn't know what to do or who to turn to? It's one thing to, watch this, be in trouble and go to folk who can help you, and they refuse to open the door. I mean, it's one thing to be in trouble, and you I don't know about here in Chicago, but I've been around some fake folk, sneaky secretaries, tricky trustees, devilish deacons, cold choir folk that watch this, was able to help me but refused to give me a helping hand. I mean, have you ever been around some people that you call them and instead of answering the telephone, they will look at the caller ID and refuse to answer the phone? And sometimes trouble keep on living. My mama used to say it like this: keep on saying good morning and good evening and good night. Keep on living in a space-age time that everybody wants microwave blessings. But Jesus preached, Dr. Whipple, I'm doing the best I can. Jesus declared that in this life, you're going to have some trouble. I wish I had somebody say, put your weight on it, Whipple. You're going to have some trouble. Trouble knows your address. Trouble knows where you live at. Trouble, I forgot to tell you, trouble got 2 legs, 2 eyes, 2 ears. Trouble got a mouth. Trouble is not an it or a thing, but trouble sometimes can be people, and trouble will find you. Have we got some help in here? Yeah, if trouble was like shoes, I can walk it out. If trouble was like a car, I can drive it out. If trouble was like a house, I can live it out. If trouble was like food, I can eat it out. If trouble was like clothes, I can wear it out. But trouble is a mystery. Trouble will come. And in this life, you're going to have some trouble. Have you ever felt like you were just marking time? The time you look around, old folk used to say it like this: if it ain't one thing, it's another. In this life, you're going to have some trouble. Here it is. 8 minutes.
Come on.
Here it is. She's dealing with a dilemma.
Yes, right.
It's in the text.
Yeah, right.
But here it is. She had to deal with also death.
Yeah.
It's one thing
All right.
to have a dilemma in your life.
Yes, sir.
But it's another thing to have to deal with death. You watch this. It's one thing to have a dilemma, but you got death and a dilemma. Don't miss this. It's one thing to just have a dilemma, but to have death and a dilemma. Y'all ready for this? It's one thing to deal with a dilemma and death. But watch this. Not only do she have a dilemma, and she's dealing, brother deacons, with death. But can I suggest to you, without even looking at the text, she's also dealing with death. She has a dilemma. Death and death. Okay, let me try to work on this. You look at folk that come to St. Bethel, and sometimes that's why we don't have time for foolishness. You don't know who's on the verge of suicide. All right, y'all getting warm over here. Let me come on this side, because y'all just listening. Y'all ain't saying much, and y'all want me to come back over here? It's one thing to deal with death and have a dilemma, but to have a dilemma, death and death at the same time. It seems like her world is closing in on her.
No, you're right. Yes. No, you're right. Go on, son. Go ahead on.
Watch this. Thy servant, my husband, is dead. And in that day, a preacher did not have a 401k or a retirement package. He did not, in that day, qualify for Social Security. But when you look at the assurance of the context of the text, so that I would be hermeneutical and hermeneutical correct as we attempt to exegetical the text, there's something that's hid between verses 1, 2, and 3. It's real simple. What caused her, y'all, to have favor is that her husband feared the Lord. Put your way in the hand, Shamika. Look, Tyrone, let me help you. The reason why you still here is because Mama to the young folk on this side, baby. Don't you think that you got it going on and it's all about you. Y'all ain't hear what I'm saying. You still here because Mama Nim prayed for you. I told my son, as big as he is, he said, Dad, I don't want to fly to Chicago if I'm not on the same plane you're on. I feel better that if I'm on the plane with you, I feel better. And it hit me that what he was saying to me, because he comes from my quiver. I'm trying to tell y'all, you know, parents know their children. He was really saying to me that if the plane go down, at least we can go together. But because I'm God's messenger boy, before he got on the plane, I went on his behalf. 6 minutes, I gotta get out of here. And I had a talk with the Lord for him. Y'all remember just a little talk with Jesus? We'll make it. All right. She says, watch this. Thou servant did fear.
That's right.
The Lord. And according to the Leviticus law, in that day, whenever one would borrow, they would use their children for collateral. Oh, I wish I would have been there. In those days, you talking about child abuse. Holler at me if you can. My mama would tell me to go. See, y'all city folk. But we would go out and get a guava limb. I never could figure out. You right by switch. I'm just trying to be moderate. I never could figure out why my mama would allow me the opportunity to go and pick the one that she's about to beat me with. I'm just talking to be talking. And I couldn't understand why mama would use words like, I'm going to get you for old and new. All right, let me go a little further. One of the worst whippings that I experienced was when I was deep in my sleep.